Hi, I'm Greg Dell, joined by attorneys Frank Darris and Stephen Jessup, and we're going to talk about Unum long-term disability denials. And between the three of us, we've handled in excess of 10,000 Unum claims, not even including the amount of people we've spoken to who call us all the time for denial. So there's a lot of experience to share here to help people who've been denied their long-term disability benefits. And Stephen, in this video, I want to talk about some of the most common reasons that we see for Unum disability denials. And what's the first one that comes to your mind when you think about why Unum commonly denies long-term disability claims?
I think the biggest reason is always going to be lack of documentation, or at least in their mind, insufficient documentation to support the disability. I find Unum to be a carrier that, in my opinion, seems more prone to deny claims than approve claims. They have a certain way about going their review process and everything, but I think more than often than not, the denial is going to be some level of, we reviewed everything your doctor submitted, our doctors reviewed it, we just don't think, it rises to a level of impairment. They'll always give you the condition. It's very rare they challenge a diagnosis. It's just the idea that they don't think it rises to a level that should prevent someone from working.
And you guys know Unum's a unique company because they're the world's largest long-term disability insurance company. There's been years pre-COVID where they were doing not 100 million, not 200 million, but just shy of $1 billion in profit. I'm not talking revenue, I'm talking pure profit. So they are an absolute monster. They do sell life insurance, but disability insurance is their big thing, and that's what they do. And when we're talking about denials, Frank, we also commonly see this change of definition. Talk about why that is one of the top three reasons for a denial of benefits by them.
Sure. You get a policy and they're very difficult to decipher. When you get down and dirty and you're looking at that insurance policy, first of all, it's Swiss cheese and full of holes. They've got more exclusions and off-ramps and speed bumps to prevent you from getting your disability benefits. The change definition is one that is paramount. Usually these policies, if you worked at Walmart, you'd have a change in policy definition at 9 months. So at 9 months, rather than being unable to do your occupation by which you're trained, educated, or suited, the policy would go to any occupation by which you're trained, educated, or suited. They take into consideration your financial state of what you earn. So if you earn $9, they'll consider that as well. But the definition changes from what you were doing at the onset of disability, your occupation. Second, kind of tandem. First, the change in definition. Then secondly, where is your occupation? Where are they testing our occupation? Is it what I do at my job? No, it's not your job. It's your occupation, the way it's performed, either in the local economy where you live, or most of the policies have national economy. So two hurdles for the insured to get over, and they're hard. Social Security says you've got to be disabled from every occupation by which you're trained, educated, or suited. These particular policies make it hard to collect after the change.
And Stephen, talking about the techniques of what Unum uses, because I want most people watching this video have been denied already, and then they found us on the internet or someone recommended our law firm, and that's why they're here. But what tools does Unum use, and what are the methods they go about to deny a long-term disability claim?
I think Unum is unique in the sense that, like most carriers, they're not going to have someone physically examined. They do independent medical examinations, but it's certainly not prevalent in the majority of denials you'll see. Like most companies, they'll do file reviews. They'll do a review of the medical. The nuance with Unum that makes them different is they do like a round table where the medical and the vocational and the claims all get together to discuss the case. And in their opinion, it's so that they can all get together and efficiently determine, restrictions, limitations, whatever the case may be. My thought on it always is that in a situation where you have multiple people discussing it, if one person, say the doctor, is strong in an opinion, it's almost like everyone else at that table is adjusting their thoughts on the claim to fit that criteria. So it's almost like they're coming together to find ways to deny instead of having individual reviews done, then someone like the claims person looking at each thing individually. So they'll roundtable with their own employees. Generally don't see them, hiring an outside company to do reviews like some of the other major insurance companies. So they operate with an obvious inherent conflict of interest. And I think that's probably one of the most frustrating things, and also makes it difficult a lot of times when it comes with Unum claims. Winning appeals against Unum can be very, very difficult because they're always keeping stuff in-house, with their own employees doing the reviews.
I think you're being kind to them in how you're describing this roundtable, because I see it as a board of directors meeting, or back in ancient times sitting at the king's table, and the king's like, okay, here's what needs to happen. And they got the doctor sitting at the table, they got the vocational consultant sitting at the table, they've got the claims rep sitting at the table, they've got a nurse sitting at the table. Everyone's on the same page as to, like, where's the weakness in this claim? What's missing? Not what evidence is here to support claim, it's what can we focus on that's missing. That's not the attitude that most companies take when reviewing a claim. Now, this roundtable thing's not made up. When a claim gets denied, you get a claim file. We've all reviewed thousands of these claim files, and they put right in there, we had our meeting, and these are the people who are there. But you always see that it starts with this claims level type manager, or they call them directors at Unum, who put the theme of what it's going to be for this case. And almost always it carries through with that theme. And I rarely see once the director sets that theme, that the outcome is different than what that director was looking for. So the directive comes from, like, the commander, and then everyone else falls in line. When we talk about tools, Frank, that Unum has available to deny a claim, and Stephen talked about that Unum has their own medical team in-house, and nurses and doctors, and they do a lot of their own reviews primarily. They also have this tool known as video surveillance and social media surveillance, which has, to me, become a huge tool in their arsenal to deny claims. How do they use it, and what do claimants need to know about this?
So before we get there, I just want to add to what Stephen and what you both said about the hierarchy and the setup. You're either a good soldier and you follow the company line. A claim examiner reports to a consultant. The consultant reports to a manager. The manager then reports to either the vice president of claim or a director. And each month, that claim examiner has to report to their supervisors up the chain, when is this case going to resolve? So the pressure isn't to find a way to look for a way to pay the claim. The pressure is to close the claim in line with what they estimated. So if they say 3 months, boy, oh boy, now let's get to your two tools that you mentioned. The videotape and paparazzi, I call it. That's where they're going to send a videotaper out. They're not going to do it for 4 hours or 1 day. They like to do it for 2, 3, 4 days. Why? Because I always used to argue, well, you caught him on a good day, caught him at a good hour. Well, he was taking his medication. Now they'll go out and they'll be out in front of the house at 5:30 in the morning, and they will follow the insured all day. Hang-up calls is a good way for the insured to know they're doing it. Hi, this is the Los Angeles Times. It's not the LA Times. It's the videotaper out front trying to figure out whether the insured is home. Because if the insured's out, well, they'll stake it out until 3, 4, 5 calls go unanswered. If they answer the phone, now it's a home run. The videographer is out there, and he's there to capture activities inconsistent with the disability. On that claim form, the claimant fills out, I can't bend, I can't lift, I can't stoop, I can't push, I can't pull, I can't carry. Sure enough, what are they hoping for? They're hoping he's going to Costco to get a 24-pack. And he's going to load that 24-pack into the trunk of the car. He's not wincing, he's not complaining. He's using a credit card to exchange money. He's cognitively on task, and guess what? He didn't get lost on the way home. The videotaper follows him, and he unloads, or she unloads the groceries to the house. Now you've got some blatant activities inconsistent. Couple that with social media. Why does everybody want to put on Facebook where they're going or where they've come from? And even if you think you're smart and you're private, they can friend a friend. Your wife's friend, now they come in the back door, they get pictures of a wedding that particular dance was with your daughter, or however. Whatever activity is on Facebook or social media, whatever you say on those things, they're going to use those things against you. And how often do my headache claimants say, wow, I was up all night. I took my medication. I got a raging, burning headache. That's not what we use Facebook for. We use Facebook to show people where we are, how much fun life is, and that's inconsistent with someone with disability.
And it becomes a problem because how many denial letters have we all seen where they say, well, your social media activity is inconsistent with your reported activities to your doctor?
Yeah, one other thing, they use videotape in conjunction with a field visit. Oftentimes I'll have a claimant call and say, Frank, they're going to come to my area. They said they're the eyes and ears of the insurance company and they're going to come and do a field visit. Field visit should be an alert to the insured. They're out there videotaping 1, 2, 3, 4 days. They love holidays and the weekends because people are more active during that time. But say your videotape or your field visit is at noon on a Wednesday. Anticipate Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday. They're going to be out there for 12 hours looking at your activity. Now they get you to sit down in your home. Why do they want to do the interview in your home? So they can see your art. They can see what kind of cars you've got in your driveway. They know what your neighborhood looks like, and it makes it easier for them to come back and videotape. Last thing they do at the interview, hey, Greg, what'd you do yesterday? Oh, I got up late. I took my medication. My wife made me breakfast. All the kinds of things that you'd think a disabled person would do. Not, he went to the bank, he went to have lunch with his daughter, it was a good day, and he was driving without impairment. Those are the kinds of things that can really trip up an insured.
Well, those are some great tips that you just gave for people who are watching this video. And I know we only scratched the surface on what we thought were some of our top reasons for denial. And we have lots of other videos where we talk about things you can do to prevent a Unum denial. But for the people who are watching this video, we offer these services all over the country and we help claimants nationwide with Unum disability. We never charge any fees or costs unless we win a claim for you. So feel free to give us a call, whether you speak to Frank, Stephen, myself, or any of our lawyers. We look forward to providing you with a free consultation.